Right, guys, what's going on? Ace here. By now, both the Gohan Trunks and the Shallet showcase should have gone up. Let me know if you guys enjoyed those videos. I had a ton of fun recording them. But this is going to be a different video, at least for my style, my channel. I'm going to do essentially like, I guess, a unit guide on both of these characters. I have Gohan Trunks pulled up here. They are also maxed out. I really do love the character. They were just so much fun, and Future Gohan's one of my favorite characters like ever. So I did want to do a unit guide on them, and then as well as Shallet, just because he released next to them. Um, to start, the main premise of Trunks and Gohan here is their unique age being a confrontation type. They're a character that wants to stop the enemy from switching out, or they want to at least benefit. Like, you can still switch out against this character, but you're still just gonna benefit the enemy anyways. I believe it takes 5 confrontations to charge the gauge, and confrontations are essentially even if this character tags. So if this character tags, you still get a charge to that gauge. So it's super simple to get that gauge there. And when they do get the gauge, they do net themselves a card and 40 key, as well as a Dragon Ball twice and a total of 80% damage. Another thing about this character is this character can get double card draw speed. I believe it's on the green. Oh, it's not on the green. Which ability is it? I know they can get double card draws. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they don't get double card draw speed anywhere. I think it shows. Oh yeah, they just keep getting cards. That's what it is. I don't know why I thought they got double card draw speed somewhere. Just make sure. Oh, they reduce card draw speed twice. Okay, so never mind, ignore that. But they do get a lot of cards. And they get a lot of key, so you won't have card or key troubles with this character. They don't have lowered costs, but does that really matter? I don't think so. So this character is a combo machine. However, the only thing I wouldn't say they're good at is defending themselves. They do have cancel buffs, even on blues. So that does help, but they shouldn't be the one eating a hit. So you want to surround this character with someone who can eat those hits, or who can at the very least defend your team, heal your team back up, help you switch in faster, and just essentially keep this character on the field as much as possible while keeping them as safe as possible. And you want characters who can let them do that. So, with that being said, this is the first team I want to go over. Pure hybrids here. First thing I want to go over is the supporters you're actually going to want on this team. This is my chosen supporter lineup. We have Korra for powerful opponents, Yima for movies, Gohan for 3 Saiyans, we have Chilai for 2 fusion warriors, we have Dende just for heals, or a universal character there, and then we have Baba for future. You could technically use Puar now, and he might be a little bit better. Excuse me. Or you could use Bulma and Jocko here if you're going against hybrids. I would just keep Dende here. Simply because Triple Sun family is super uncommon. And that's kind of ironic given the team I'm showing you, but it's still kind of uncommon. You don't see that setup specifically. I see a different setup most of the time. But you could also use Bulma and Jocko, and that should be fine as well. So, now, we can talk about the characters here. So, first, I haven't done a showcase on this character yet, but a yellow pan is absurd. Actually, I have, but it just hasn't gone up. It probably won't go up till after this video. This demon child here. So, on battlefield entry, she's going to destroy a card. On charge attack hit, she's going to reduce subcounts by 10 and prevent the enemy from switching. And then, if she is hit by an enemy arch at 75% or lower HP, she's going to destroy the entire enemy's hand and hit them with 2 subcounts. No one can get around that. There's no way to get around that. Well, there's actually, like, if you have Trunks and Gohan's tag available, sure, you can get around it with 1 card, but that's still a combo stopper. So yeah, this is a guard type character. This is a character who's meant to just sustain your team. She does a lot of healing. And then Revival Gohan, if you didn't notice, Trunks and Pan, both, Trunks and Gohan and Pan, neither of them have a second life. So you can slot this character on for a second life. He also, the downside is he doesn't have cancel buffs. So you'd have to, like, take a cancelable buff hit from one of the other characters and swap into this guy, but he can actually he can do that really easily via this, because even if he's on standby, he will reduce his own sub count by 10 when a big hit is activated against an ally. What's next? I think the good thing about this guy is he has an AoE green. Obviously, that's always a kicker for a character. Super easy priority. This is his second life, so take that as you will. And now we can talk about equipment options. We're going to go over this character first. These are my chosen 3. I think this one is obvious. Hybrid Saiyan, full hybrids team. You got to run that. Next one. This one's the new PvP equip. You get a lot of coins this season, so this should be pretty easy to farm up. You can either get base strike or blast from here. I'll have to actually get a blast roll here, but that'll be fine. And then you'll get base health, and you'll have double pure offenses. Well, you'll only have one, but since this character's range, you're getting pure ranged offense, so that'll work. And then we're gonna give him the weapon wielder equip. This is just for some extra HP and base stats, as well as some health restoration, because they are getting healed a lot, so you do want them getting a little bit more health restoration. So that's why I use this equip. If you wanted to change that one out, at least in my case, I do have them higher up. You could just use this. This one gives double pure offenses, ultimate damage, which it doesn't matter, but it also has blue card damage and max HP, so this one could help. And they do fulfill that own condition by themselves there. You could, since you're running next to Pan, also use this. You get 10% pure strike, and then 15% pure blast, as well as 10% HP, 10% strike defense, and then 15% to base blast defense, or base blast attack there. So pretty all-rounded equip there. Another one you could technically use is this. I don't tend to bust this out too often anymore. This one's just a very good, well-rounded equip, double pure offenses and base HP, or base health. This one would work, but since this character is actually not Episode Android Saga, because they're a game originals. What else could work? Technically, you could give them this. I didn't click on it. This. I just don't like the higher strike here. But that 15% special move damage is really good. And if you're running them on a different team, which I'll show you later, you could also use this. You should guess what team just by that equip. So yeah, this is my chosen lineup for the hybrids there. And then for Gohan here, it doesn't really matter, but this, because it gives pure strike attack and defense per hybrid team battle member. This, because this is the equip that dropped with him, really good for him. Double base defenses, a strike attack, and then 15% special move. Then obviously the broken hybrids equip. And then Pan's gonna have a little bit of a different build. We're gonna give her this first because it gives health restoration, base strike, and base blast. Build special move and ult damage. Gonna give her this because it gives double base offenses, some HP, base blast, and then pure strike and blast defense. And then we're gonna give her this 20% base blast defense, 12% base health, 10% base strike, and then 10% base strike attack and defense, or 10% pure strike attack and defense. This character is a support type, so yeah, that's this team is really good at just keeping your Trunks and Gohan alive and letting them do all the damage. In iteration you can do with this team, I suppose. I guess technically there's 2, but I think the better of the 2, well actually, I'm lying, but I think the easier of the 2 to run is probably going to be something like this. And then you just give him his standard build, which is this. Not that one. This, and then this. Nope, that one. So this is another way you can run the team. This might be a little bit better than the other one. I just think the other one with the revival as opposed to endurance is probably a little bit better. So yeah. With that said, the second team is going to be this one here. Essentially, you're just running them on a future here next to the 2 Goku Blacks. Keep that ability bonus too. That ability bonus is crazy high for not a full Zenkai buff team. So yeah, you'll just have Goku Black have a standard equip. You've seen this build dozens and dozens of times. I don't have to keep bringing this build up. This build is really good for him. You could also opt in to use this equip over the one that I have on. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, just depending on how the team goes. But I think I'm gonna like this equip more, just because of the extra pure defense on that equip there. Here for this one, you're gonna run it a little bit differently. Gonna have this as opposed to the hybrids pure because you only have one hybrids here, doing 12% pure blast attack and defense. And then you'll still have this, and you'll still have this, and then this Goku Black again, standard build. You're gonna run that Awakened Gold equip that released with him. You're gonna have this unique equip, and then you're gonna have this. Now this team is wildly different than the last one, because instead of having 2 guard type characters, you're having 2 offensive characters and one that's specifically meant to be a guard character. Which, if you didn't guess, the guard character is going to be Yellow Transforming Goku Black. He is probably one of the tankest characters in the game, one of the bulkiest as well. Heals a lot. The downside of this team is you don't actually heal allies too often. And then obviously with Blue Goku Black, your biggest concern is Broly, but luckily Gohan Trunks is half purple, so should hopefully balance it out. Another thing I want to note, in this character's starter ability here, if you are fighting against a Sun Family battle member, which Trunks and Gohan do count as one, you get 20% damage for the extra for the entire team, and then nullify revival health by 60%. So you could get some use out of that because Trunks and Gohan are pretty much in, like I would say, 85% of my games right now, and it's still like what, day 2 of the season. So yeah, I think this team is probably. You'd probably have an easier time using this one than the last team, but I don't think the last team is also bad. I think this one's just probably a little bit better. Yeah, I think that'll probably be it for this part. Now we're gonna hop into Shallet here, and the first team I want to bring up is this. This might actually be the only team. I'll just switch out some characters to let you guys know how that goes. But this is going to be Fusion Warriors with Pan in the leader slot. Shallet's character is weird. He can take a hit. I have seen that. You also should have seen that in the Shallet showcase. His blue card is really, really strong. You can almost guarantee a kill on a Gohan and Trunks if you have your ult available and you get the feint. And then if you have more than one, if you get the feint and damage guard penetration, it's over, essentially. And then one more thing I do want to note about this blue card is the feint chance actually doesn't go away if you land a feint. So if you have a blue, get a green, pop the green, and then immediately pop the blue again, you will get a feint off of it. So you could just like, theoretically speaking, you could just get like 2 feints back to back to back. And that would be pretty annoying to go against. But this character at his core is a blended character of offense and defense. He has good offenses, has good defenses, both good abilities on both sides there. I think the weirdest thing about him is how his element switch works. Don't want to say it's bad, but it's a little rare, I think. I think switching from an element when you go element disadvantage is good, but maybe personally, it's an anniversary unit. I would have just had it so that he stays that element until he's no longer disadvantages. Like, what's the harm in that, really? This is an anniversary character. We expect some broken things here. Other than that, yeah, this character is going to be very, very offensive. One character is to guard this guy. So, with that being said, Gogeta and Pan, obviously. Gogeta's less of a guard character. He's more of a I'll threaten your team character. He's guarding in the sense that he's probably still one of the best offensive characters in the game. Pan, I already explained to her earlier, doesn't need to go into too much detail there. As for equips on this setup, you're going to go with this. The Pan build is the same. I'm going to go with this for Shallet. You'll get the pure blast here. I'm going to go with this. You'll get everything activated since you're running this next to Gogeta. And then you'll have this as well because he has a God Key Fusion Warrior. And then for Gogeta, it's the same build. You've seen me use this character like 1,000 times now. I'll use this with this and this. I guess technically, let's see. You could use one of these equips for, not this one. This one, because it does give us 12% pure blast, 20% base, and then 20% to base off or defenses. What else could you do for... Technically, you could do this, because Shallet does qualify as a Super Saiyan God here. And this equips really good 12% base to double pure offenses, 15% base defenses, and then 10% HP. Really good. What is something else you could do? I think those are the only two I would probably swap for. Because this one won't get activated because it's not Sagas, right? So I think that is pretty set in stone for Shallet here. As for the team is definitely a weird spot, if that makes sense. So I think easily you could just put Broly here, and then instead of having Gogeta, you could use this guy to buff both of them. Then you lose out on 2 ticks of Gogeta's Z ability, which, you know, don't know if 10% damage is going to make this character go from fantastic to worthless, but, you know, some people do like min-maxing, so I think this is plausible. You could equally as well, instead of having Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here, you could just use this guy. He does Zenkai buff Shallet because he's Zenkai buff's Green God Key. But then again, you miss out on a tick of Shallet's Z ability, and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta works just as great. You could use this guy. Actually, no, you couldn't. I lied there, sorry. I don't believe you can use anyone else, actually. Not anyone that I have Zenkai Awakened, at least. But yeah, I would probably just stick to Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here. That's why I did say Shallet's Zenkai abilities, or his Zenkai buffers, are his main weak point, but he is still at his core a good character. I like this character a lot, so probably will be going for a little bit more copies. I don't know if I'll max him out, but probably will be going for a few more copies on him. But yeah, that's really all I want to say about these characters and like where I would slot them in. There is one more team that I want to go over. Let me just give me a second to pull it up. Alright, and this is going to be your Game Originals team here. Gonna be running both the new characters together alongside Pan. Pan support, defensive wall. We've talked about both characters, now the bench. So, this guy, probably gonna be the best bench for future Gohan and Trunks. Z ability is fantastic. You get 38% to, well, I guess it's not fantastic for them because it's strike, attack, and defense instead of strike and blast attack, but his Zenkai ability really good, 40% base offenses. So. And then you'll also have this guy here. This guy's also a pretty good Zenkai buffer here. I would imagine that this setup isn't going to be crazy good specifically for Gohan and Trunks because they're definitely more blast oriented, but all their Zenkai buffers are pretty strike oriented. This guy is a Zenkai buffer for them, but again, strike oriented. Who else? Isn't this guy buff Red Vegeta Clan? So technically you could use this guy, 38% base blast. I don't know if I would. This guy's Red Saiyan. You are Red Future. Or no, I think you're Red Hybrid. Yeah, Red Hybrid and blast attack, but his Z ability is sold. It might not even be worth it. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of mix and matching you can do. This guy. Is this guy Red Vegeta Clan? Yeah, he is. I don't know. Just, again, I think that ability really old, so. You could mix and match it here for Shallet. His best in slot Zenkai buffer, at least on this setup, will be this green Vegeta, because he also buffs Future instead of this Gogeta. So yeah, I think this is probably the best Game Original setup. And on this specific setup, you can get this equip activated. You can get 10% to pure Strike and Blast, 10% pure Strike and Blast attack and defense. Just depending on this last slot here, and then you'll get 10% to Strike and Blast defense, and then 20% defense is slot 1. And then you'll obviously be running this. The reason I don't have that on future Gohan and Trunks, in this case, is because I don't have a blast roll. I don't have another blast roll, so I'll have to grind up those, but I will say this is probably the best Game Originals is going to get. It's probably the best they're going to feel. I like this team personally, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Really looking forward to trying out all these teams in the current meta. Be on the lookout for maybe a meta evaluation coming out, or maybe even another top 5 teams. We'll definitely be taking a look at both of those probably later into the season. But yeah, until next time, be good, y'all.